It appears the window for a diplomatic solution might be narrowing. President Biden says today there is still time to avert a worst-case scenario.
The United States and our allies and partners remain open to diplomacy if it is serious. When all is said and done, we're going to judge Russia by its actions, not its words. And whatever Russia does next, we're ready to respond with unity, clarity, and conviction.
This morning, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham said Russia's recent actions have made this the most important time in U.S. history since World War II.
This is the 1930s all over again. What Putin did yesterday was tear up an agreement made 25 years ago. That's exactly what Hitler did in the 30s. Do I think there'll be a third world war over Russia's seizure of Ukraine? No, but I do believe there's going to be conflict at every turn.
Experts in the travel industry say Russia could respond by restricting oil access, meaning gas prices could be headed for another increase. WCNC Charlotte's Lana Harris shows us how this all could affect your travel.
Good evening. Yeah, Russia is one of the largest oil producers in the world. So if they decide to restrict access, we could see the price increase even more here at the pump and at the airport because of fuel costs. Though the conflict between Russia and Ukraine lies on another continent, Americans will feel the pressure, both at the pump and in the skies.
The concern is not necessarily the invasion itself in terms of the price of oil or how the U.S. responds. It's how Russia could retaliate to the U.S. response.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says Russia could cut oil shipments at a time when gas prices were already set to rise with spring and summer travel, potentially keeping prices high into the fall.
If the Russia situation is still alive and well, that could scatter our hopes of seeing relief by the end of the year.
It's a concern shared by the flight industry.
It's a big deal. We know airplanes use a lot of fuel.
Willis Orlando, a flight expert at Scott's Cheap Flights, says fuel is already a major cost for airlines.
It would be logical to say, hey, oil prices are higher. It means we're going to see higher fares. And, in the past, airline CEOs have cited higher gas prices for fare hikes.
Orlando says the bigger issue could come for those with international travel plans.
If the conflict gets to be large and Russia decides to shut off some or part of or all of its airspace, we may see extremely expensive flights to Asia, to Australia, places that you kind of have to pass over Russian airspace.
Orlando does expect there will still be flight deals throughout the year for those with patience.
Keep your eye on fares right now because those fare sales might be more fleeting than you'd expect if gas prices keep going up, if things keep getting more tense in Ukraine.
And despite the conflict, DeHaan says he doesn't expect any gas shortages.
That's the way the system works. Instead of running out of fuel, the price goes up instead.
Now, DeHaan says the U.S. is close to reaching a new nuclear deal with Iran, and access to their crude oil could offset any disruption from Russia. But as for now, what happens from here is up in the air. Lana Harris, WCNC Charlotte.